Recorded Books presents an unabridged recording of A Letter of Mary by Laurie R. King, narrated by Jenny Sterlin. This book is copyrighted 1996 by Laurie R. King. This recording is copyrighted 1996 by Recorded Books. This book begins with Laurie R. King's editor's preface.
This is the third in a series of manuscripts taken from a trunk full of odds and ends that was sent to me a few years ago. The puzzle of its origin, and why I was its recipient, is far from solved. In fact, it becomes more mysterious with each manuscript I publish. After the first of Mary Russell's stories, The Beekeeper's Apprentice, came out, I received a cryptic postcard that said merely, "More to follow." After the second, A Monstrous Regiment of Women, the following newspaper clipping arrived in the mail. Oxford punt found in London. A group of Japanese businessmen on a river cruise yesterday caught and towed to Hampton Court a punt, which police have determined originated at Folly Bridge in Oxford. In it were found clothing and a pair of glasses. The Thames Authority has no suggestion as yet how a punt could maneuver the locks and deeper stretches of river. I rose to the challenge. A bit of research determined that the clipping was a filler in the London Times, dated 3 weeks before the book's publication date. The subsequent phone calls to England cost me an arm and a leg, but eventually I discovered that the clothing, trousers, sensible shoes, and a blouse, was that of a tall, thin woman, and it had been found carefully folded on the cushions, with the glasses on top. There was no suicide note. The pole was in the boat. A punt is not rowed or motorized, I gather, but shoved along with a wooden pole. Downstream from Oxford, the river becomes too deep for the punter to reach the bottom. I even found out that the police dusted the thing for prints, which sounded like a joke, until my informant told me how much a wooden punt costs nowadays. With a vague idea that this might someday help me find where my trunk had come from, I asked for a set of the prints. It took a while to clear this with the higher authorities, but I did, after some months, receive a copy of the forensic report, which informed me that they had been made by 2 people, both with long, thin hands, one of them slightly bigger and thus probably male, the other with a scar across one of the pads. The scarred ones had been found on the glasses. Interestingly enough, the fingerprints taken from the sides of the punt match those on a filthy clay pipe that was in the trunk with the manuscripts. I should also mention that the inlaid box described in the following pages does exist, although when it reached me, there was no manuscript inside. It did hold a pair of black-lensed glasses, a dainty handkerchief embroidered with the letter M, and a key. The key, I have been told, is to a safety deposit box. There is absolutely no way of knowing where that box is. Laurie R. King. The second letter of Paul to the Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 9. I would terrify you by letters.
And now, A Letter of Mary.
Part 1. Tuesday, the 14th of August, 1923, to Friday, the 24th of August, 1923. A pen is certainly an excellent instrument to fix a man's attention and to inflame his ambition. John Adams. Chapter 1. Alpha. The envelope slapped down onto the desk 10 inches from my much-abused eyes, instantly obscuring the black lines of Hebrew letters that had begun to quiver an hour before. With the shock of the sudden change, my vision stuttered, attempted a valiant rally, then slid into complete rebellion and would not focus at all. I leant back in my chair with an ill-stifled groan, peeled my wire-rimmed spectacles from my ears, and dropped them onto the stack of notes, and sat for a long minute with the heels of both hands pressed into my eye sockets.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?